Hi and welcome to this very basic tutorial of TVed. We're going to start by creating a new map from the prefabs. We'll name it tutorial. Starting set, we'll use meadows, size 512, skybox, sunny. Click create. When you initially open up the editor, you'll see a different toolbar over here. I like to use the button bar. You can access that by clicking view and toggle button bar. Great, so we're in the level. Now there's a bug with the current build that if you built mountains, you painted layers, you saved it, and you went back into it, you wouldn't see it. It would lose your information. And so we're going to change that. We're going over to the texture tool, the texture browser here. We can click on that. And we're going to find a package called tutorial textures. And basically, it's any whatever you named your map followed by textures. So we'll go there, scroll down, we'll find the height map. We'll select on it, right click, duplicate, package. We're going to put this in my level. Any custom textures that you want saved with your map have to go in the package called my level. Name, we'll name it height field. And click OK. And it'll take us to my level. Just click on the all button. It's a little error there. And we have it selected, it has this border around it. We'll go over to the terrain tool and we're going to right click on the height map here and set height field from current, knowing that we have the height field selected, the new one that's in my level. Great, so that's done. No visible changes. Let's go back to the terrain editing tool. Click on layers, and these are all the stone, the grass, the dirt. These won't save as well, and to demonstrate that, I'm going to save the map. I'm going to open it again, and you'll get this error. See the terrain disappears. Get a bunch of errors. Just click OK. And we're going to delete these and we're going to create new ones. So let's go back to the texture browser. We'll go to meadows, scroll down, we'll select the stone for the bottom texture and we'll click new. Package my level group, we'll name this terrain textures. Name this layer 1. Alpha height and width 512 is good. Alpha fill 0, that's black. If you wanted to just paint manually where you wanted the terrain to appear, you leave it at 0. It's good for like roads and things. But we want this to cover the entire surface, so we'll put this at white, which is 255. U and V scale, we'll set at 8, and color we won't worry about. So we click OK, and there it appears. Now we're going to create another layer, a grass layer. Select that and we'll click new. We have the second one highlighted here, the undefined one, and kept our settings. Let's name this one layer 2. I want this one to cover the entire layer as well, so we'll set it at 255. U and V scale 3 is good for grass, maybe 2, whatever you want. And so it's done. So let's paint a few mountains here. I'm going back to the terrains tab here and select on painting. I'm not going to go through all these different ones. You can look at other Unreal Ed tutorials for that. This is very basic, just to get you started in TV. So with this selected, and I'm going to hold down Control, left mouse button, and paint some mountains. Great. So now, why did I put the grass over the rock? It's a good idea to delete the grass to expose the rock underneath. It's just a better way to paint rock instead of painting a rock on top of the grass. And it's done on some of the retail maps. So we'll do that now. So we have the layers tab selected. We have it on painting. I'm going to set my strength down to something pretty low. Also decrease my brush. And I'm going to put it on the mountain here. I'm going to hold down Control. This time I'm going to right click and drag and I'm going to remove the grass to expose the stone, which is a better effect, I think, than painting it on. Great. So now let's talk about sunlight very quickly. We'll go to this thing called the group browser. We'll click on that. We'll click on all actors, and these are all the actors that are in the current map. And here we'll select sunlight, and we'll right click on it, select go to, and it puts it right there. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. As you can see, it's under the terrain. I'm going to click on this eye here, and this will lock to the sunlight. So wherever I move my cursor, it'll move the sun as well. So I click on that, and then I click on the sun, and now I can move it around. Now I want my sun, let's say, over here. Also, in the lower right hand corner, you can see the camera settings. I'll set this to high, so I move around fairly quickly, and I'll get a good shadow on that mountain on the other side. So I've set it up to where I want the sunlight to hit, and I unclick the eye. I don't want to move it around anymore, and I go up to the top here, and I select the second light bulb, build change lighting, and I'll see the effect. Great. So we got a good shadow there. Okay, so as we look around the map, we see it's kind of small actually for a tribes map. And even though we chose the 512 by 512 setting, so we want to increase the terrain. And the way we do that is we go to the terrain info here in the group browser. We'll right click on it and choose properties. Scroll up top, and here in the terrain scale, we expand that, and here's where we change it. Now what's great about this is that if you painted rock and grass and stuff, it won't lose where it's painted. It'll expand with the terrain. However, the bases and meshes and stuff you've put in, you'll definitely have to move those. So great. So we've expanded our terrain, but the out of bounds grid hasn't moved at all, and we need to change that. So we're going to go to the overhead view. I'm going to zoom out, and we see these two boxes. The black one is the out of bounds grid, and this orange one here is the zone. And we don't know where the terrain starts and where it ends. And to view it, we go to the gray part of the bar here. We right click, and we select View, Show Terrain, and there it appears. So now we have to go to the vertex editing mode to expand these boxes. Click on that, click in the window here, and highlight this, and I'm going to control click on these vertexes. But before I move them, I want to make sure down here that the toggle to vertex snap is on and that the grid snap is on. Also, I'm going to set my grid to 2048 because I'm dealing with very broad movement. So I'll go back to the window here. I'm going to select this again. I'm holding down control as I click these two, and I hold down control and I move these vertexes. Now another thing you can do is to you can highlight a box, and you can hold down Alt and Control and make a lasso. That's another quick way to do that. Sometimes a lasso doesn't work. Just zoom in and out really quickly. Oops. I like to leave some space between the edge, so when you look out at the out of bounds grid, you just see terrain. And I'm not going to be exact. I'm just going to go through this quickly. So great. So that's done. Now, as we go back into our level, we see it hasn't moved it. Hasn't moved the out of bounds grid at all. And so we have to go up here and we click the Build Geometry button. The first cube. We don't want to build all now. We just want to click the Build Geometry button, the first cube here. And great, so expanded our level. Also, during the editing process or creating a map, what I like to do personally is to hide the out of bounds grid because it gets a little confusing. So I'm going to select it here, and down here in the lower left, this eye that's crossed out, it's hide selected actors, and just click on that, and there it disappears. Great. So let's for the last thing for this first part, we'll add fog. So let's go back to the group browser. Click on all actors, and for that we have to go to the zone info, and we right-click on that, choose properties. Here we have a few settings. I'm going to set these to true. Fog color, distance fog, clip to distance fog, and distance fog. Now for the numerical values for its start and end for the fog, we go down to the zone light and we expand it. And we have zone fog start at 3,000, fog end 30,000, which is good. Also here you can set the ambient brightness to the level. You can, if you want it a little darker, you can change it to 100. If you want it just to be generated by the sunlight, I guess you'd change it to 0. But this is a good setting. Also, if you add the fog in now, though, it'll be there the entire time you edit your map, and you might want to add that last thing. But anyway, let's go back to the distance fog color, and this is important because this color has to be the bottom color of what your skybox is. And to find that out, let's go back to the actor groups. Click on the sky zone info, right click on it, select go to. The skybox is usually out way away from the map, so it's hard to navigate to it. Just right click on that to go to. So here we have our skybox, and I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to click on this gray bar here, and then on this greater than sign, and select pick. And it gives me this eyedropper tool when I move it over to the 3D view, and I'm going to select that bottom color there, and there it changed. And so that's it. So let's go back to the actor groups, select on the sunlight actor, right click, go to. This will just bring us back to the main area, and there we are. So that's the end of this first part. The second part will talk about building a very simple base. And thanks a lot.